Hello, this is Happy Life with Joanna. I'm Joanna at yoursnews.in. I've been a social worker for almost 30 years, and for the last 20 years, I've mostly worked with people who have physical illness or mental illness. I talk with them every day about how to have the best life they possibly can by using positivity, coping strategies, discussing their problems openly and fearlessly. I'm here on yoursnews.in to discuss some of these things with you so that you can have a happy life too. I also go to the movies every week, and I'll be talking to you here about the recent movies that I've seen. You can subscribe to these videos on yoursnews.in. "16 years ago, I attended the course for chronic fatigue syndrome patients at what is now the Benson Henry Institute for Mind-Body Medicine, the premier program of its kind in the country. I was so sick at the time, I thought I might not be able to continue working and was considering applying for permanent disability. The program helped restore my health and in all meaningful ways saved my life. I improved so much, I was asked to speak at the Institute's annual fundraiser. To explain the value of mind-body medicine to me, I'm going to read you an abridged version of the speech I gave in 1999. My history is similar to those of many people living with chronic fatigue syndrome. 20 years ago, when I was 19, I went to bed one night feeling fine, woke up the next morning terribly sick, and never got entirely well. It took me 16 years to get an accurate diagnosis, only to learn that there is no standardized medical treatment for my illness. Over the years, I've tried numerous holistic strategies in an effort to improve my health, and none of them worked until I went to the Institute for Mind-Body Medicine. In 1996, for unknown reasons, my health became much worse. By the time I began the program for chronic fatigue syndrome patients, I was in a sustained state of despair. I struggled to go to work, and once there, often hid in my office, literally swooning at my desk. Much of the time that I wasn't at work, I was homesick. I'd chosen not to have children because I simply wasn't well enough to care for them. And I began to fear that I'd also have to give up a career that I loved and which I'd struggled at a great cost to maintain. Because I'd been sick for so long, I assumed that the Mind-Body program would teach me tools and practices that I'd previously been exposed to. But I also believed that the program content would be more complete and cohesive than the bits and pieces of health-promoting exercises that I'd picked up since I first became sick. I also assumed that if I had previous exposure to a practice, because I was in the program, I'd feel compelled, for lack of a better phrase, to do my homework. All of my assumptions proved true. The first thing we were taught in my class was how to elicit a relaxation response, either through a relaxation tape or meditation. Our homework was to practice this twice daily. My initial reaction to the assignment was, what a drag. I couldn't believe how much of my precious free time was spent meditating. But then I began to feel better. I started the program the last week of November, and by mid-December was markedly less sick and more energized. I felt better in December than I had in all of the previous 11 months of the year collectively. Although I worked to incorporate the other tools of the program into my life, I'm convinced that the instrument of change for me was and is the daily meditation. Now I meditate every day as if it were life-saving medication, which in terms of quality of life, it is for me. Because of the Institute for Mind-Body Medicine, my health is better and I have hope again. I also have faith that as I learn to use the tools and practices I was taught in the program with more skill, my health and therefore my life will continue to improve. Since I gave that speech 16 years ago, I've been able to live a full life. I'm still occasionally so severely fatigued that I can barely move, but I continue to practice mind-body medicine, primarily meditation and mindfulness. These practices always restore me to functionality, which is now my baseline. I'm doing so well that I wrote a self-help book for other chronically ill patients. MSI Press is professionally publishing my book, Living Well with Chronic Illness, this summer. I've loved working at the hospital for the last 7 years. My employment here and my book are only possible because I continue to regularly practice mind-body medicine. I owe it everything. Thank you.